Well, as you all know, there's been big controversy over whether Elon Musk was actually going to buy Twitter. Originally, he made an offer to buy Twitter at the extraordinary price of $54.20 per share. Now, the reason that is an extraordinary price is because the current Twitter stock price is well below that. The current Twitter stock price now is $51.30. But until about 5 seconds ago, it was way lower than that. We are talking in the past 6 months, its low was somewhere around $40, $39. Okay, and that was after it became clear that Musk wasn't actually going to buy Twitter, right? He sued to get out of the deal. There's a lot of talk that perhaps what he was actually doing was looking for an excuse to liquidate some of his Tesla stock. So if he actually liquidated some of his Tesla stock in order to, quote unquote, buy Twitter, and then he didn't end up buying Twitter, and then he just ended up paying some sort of SEC fine, he would still have been able to liquidate some of that Tesla stock without having tanked the Tesla stock, because everybody knew that he was doing so in order to buy Twitter. Okay, bottom line is, now Elon Musk is saying that he is interested in buying Twitter. Again, according to the Associated Press, the tumultuous saga of Elon Musk's on-again, off-again purchase of Twitter took a turn toward a conclusion on Tuesday after the mercurial Tesla CEO proposed to buy the company at the originally agreed-upon price of $44 billion. Musk made the surprising turnaround not on Twitter, as has been his custom, but in a letter to Twitter that the company disclosed in a filing on Tuesday with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. It came less than 2 weeks before a trial between the two parties is scheduled to start in Delaware. In response, Twitter says it intends to close the transaction at $54.20 per share after receiving the letter from Musk. The company stopped short of saying it's dropping its lawsuit against the billionaire Tesla CEO. That's because if they say they're dropping their lawsuit, then presumably Musk could drag this on for months longer. So they're using the lawsuit as a sort of cudgel to make Musk buy the company, which is the first thing, honestly, it's the first time I've ever heard of a company forcing a prospective offerer to go through with a sale. It's a unique situation, that is for sure. You remember that what Musk said is, I want to buy you, but, I'm noticing that you got a lot of bots over there, and I think maybe you violated our agreement. And Twitter was like, well, you knew that going in. And so that's what the crux of the argument was. According to Andrew Jennings, professor at Brooklyn Law School, quote, I don't think Twitter will give up its trial date on just Musk's word. It's going to need more certainty about closing. Well, again, the trading on the Twitter stock jumped as soon as this announcement was made. It moved all the way up to $52 a share, all the way down from, it was like I say, $39 and $40 a share for a very long time. A letter from Musk's lawyer dated Monday, disclosed by Twitter in that SEC filing, said Musk would close the merger signed in April, provided that the Delaware Chancery Court enter an immediate stay of Twitter's lawsuit against him and adjourn the trial scheduled to start on October 17th. Again, many people are saying the reason that this happened is because his case against Twitter wasn't strong enough for him to get out of the deal, so he's avoiding the legal costs and potential fines. He did tweet out yesterday, quote, buying Twitter is an accelerant to creating X, the everything app. So, as always, Elon Musk thinking big. The idea here is that Twitter would become part of a much broader app, almost as kind of like how Facebook eventually morphed from what was status updates to your close friends to pretty much everything. It's where you get your news, it's where you shop. He's attempting to create sort of a parallel universe here via Twitter. Somebody tweeted back at him, I think it would have been easier just to start X from scratch, though. And Musk said, Twitter probably accelerates X by 3 to 5 years, but I could be wrong. Which is gotta love the fact that the guy is very, very honest on Twitter. That is for sure. Well, this has created the predictable specter of all of the Twitter employees freaking out and running into walls. I mean, they're just losing their minds over there, as they should, because it turns out that Twitter heretofore has been a censorship app for many members of the left, which is why you will see people just being banned and unbanned almost randomly. They all happen to be on the right. It's very rare that somebody on the left actually gets banned, but somebody on the right, for no reason, like libs of TikTok, will get banned and then unbanned and then banned and then unbanned. This will happen 5-6 times. Meanwhile, of course, President Trump is still off of Twitter. It is now a couple of years after January 6th. They banned him in the aftermath of January 6th, suggesting that he was responsible for the events of January 6th. And now, presumably, he will get back on. According to Mediaite, on the app Blind, where employee referred to Musk as an angry, triggered billionaire. Well, it seems mostly like you guys are angry and triggered, since he actually is putting his money where his mouth is. You're not really triggered if you drop $44 billion to buy a company. That's typically not how people act. One posted to the app, we've got an angry, triggered billionaire going to own us who's looking for vengeance. The worst financial market in years. Hiring freezes everywhere. Q4 is looking great. So first of all, I do love the reaction from people on the left. Robert Reich did the same thing. Another billionaire is going to own Twitter. Okay, I would like for you to name a giant tech company that is not owned by a multi-millionaire. Like, really, name a big tech company that is not owned by somebody who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They do not exist. There's no Twitter app that is owned by like the homeless guy at the end of the street on Grand in Los Angeles. That's not how any of this works. We'll get to more on this in just 1 second. First, in 2020, there were over 1,000 significant online data breaches in the United States. That left almost 156 million people's records exposed. That includes sensitive information related to your kids. Now, you wouldn't let your kids walk home from school without telling them not to talk to strangers or get into those free candy vans, but you let them go online every day without a VPN when everything they do is tracked by advertisers and people could theoretically hack and track down your kids. Like, this is scary stuff. This is why you need to protect your internet activity. To protect your family privacy when they go online, you've got to use ExpressVPN. ISPs know every single website you visit. They can sell that information to ad companies and tech giants who then use that data to target you. Do you really want those advertisers knowing who is in your household or what your kids like to watch and how to target them, whatever they are looking to sell? ExpressVPN protects your privacy without slowing your connection no matter how many users are in your household. Unlike other VPNs, you're not going to even realize you have it on because, again, it works incredibly fast. It's very, very easy to install as well. Secure your family's online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show today. Use my link. You can get an extra 3 months for free. That's expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. Twitter employees heard news of the latest development in Musk's potential purchase while they were in a meeting discussing the company's goals in 2023, according to Bloomberg. Raman Chowdhury, the Twitter director of machine learning ethics, transparency, and accountability, tweeted, quote, "Living the plot of succession is effing exhausting." Well, I think this person will not have a job for particularly long. This is just my quick prediction. Again, the director of machine learning ethics, transparency, and accountability means presumably the director of censorship over at Twitter. And of course, CNN's Danny O'Sullivan then tweeted, "This Twitter employee sums up what I'm hearing from folks inside the company today." Yes, because as it turns out, Elon Musk has different ideas about censorship than you do, and this is why you are so upset. EJ Sampson, who works in global business marketing, tweeted, "I encourage every Twitter employee to go outside and take a walk." Twitter's head of global development, Noah Weinstein, simply indicated what a roller coaster it has all been. Well, you know what? The good news is that Musk is actually creating a self-cleansing mechanism here at Twitter by buying, presumably, all these people will either out themselves and be fired or quit. And it'll be great because Twitter needs to be completely restaffed. There's a deep state over at Twitter in the same way there was a deep state in the federal government, meaning an entrenched bureaucracy that has ideas of its own. And all of those people can simply go away. That would be wonderful. Kevin Roose, who's a longtime critic of open speech on the internet, he's making some predictions over at the New York Times on what exactly is going to happen now that Elon Musk takes over. Presumably, he's going to clean house, starting with firing Twitter's chief executive Parag Agrawal. According to Roose, a juicy set of text messages between Musk and his friends and business associates emerged last week as part of the legal battle. In them, Musk made clear he was unhappy with Twitter's current leadership, in particular with Parag Agrawal, the chief executive who took over last year from Jack Dorsey. The text showed that Agrawal had initially sought to work constructively with Musk, but the two men eventually clashed. Agrawal at one point told Musk via text message his habit of tweeting things like, "Is Twitter dying?" was not helping me make Twitter better. "What did you get done this week?" Musk shot back. "This is a waste of time." Yeah, man. Well, good, because all these people need to go. Roose says that the employees will revolt. Well, oh no. So, really go into a market that is desperately looking for people who need to learn to code. I mean, you already know how to code, so presumably you'll be able to find a job somewhere else. Twitter, more so than any other social media platform, has a vocally progressive workforce and many employees who are deeply invested in the company's mission of promoting, quote unquote, healthy conversation. By healthy conversation, of course, they mean things we agree with. Those employees may believe, for good reason, that under Musk's leadership, Twitter will abandon many of the projects they care about in areas like trust and safety, two of the most Orwellian areas of the entire Twitter mechanism, trust and safety. By trust, they mean left, and by safety, they mean left. They do not mean safety as in we're going to prevent violent threats. The Ayatollah Khamenei is still on Twitter like every day, talking about wiping 6 million Jews off the planet. They don't seem to care about that very much. And when it comes to trust, they're perfectly happy to distribute misinformation so long as it comes from the left. What they really just mean is Twitter is a great mechanism for sucking in 1 billion people and then presuming to offer them only left-wing information in the name of truth. Some employees have already quit anticipating a Musk takeover. It's a safe bet that many more will follow if the deal actually closes. It's worth noting that in his text with Musk, Agrawal claimed a large silent majority of Twitter employees supported Musk's vision. Virtually every Twitter employee I've spoken to, says Kevin Roose, has told me that he or she plans to leave if Musk takes over, which is great. Again, more jobs for those of us who aren't in favor of online censorship. Also, you can assume that Trump will be back, which will happen pretty much immediately, which is as it should be. Okay, the fact is that he is, in fact, an important political leader, even if people on the left would prefer to see him kept off of places like Twitter. My prediction, by the way, is that Trump on Twitter is actually not going to help Trump's brand a whole hell of a lot. I think one of the things that actually helped Trump over the course of the last couple of years is precisely what he should have done during his presidency, which is tweet less. The fact that he's not in the public eye every single moment of every single day means that people aren't polarized into their beliefs about him every single moment of every single day. Him being on Truth Social means that people are at a little bit of a remove from him. I think this has actually benefited him somewhat politically. Him being back on Twitter, he thinks it's going to help him. I'm not sure that that's the case. But regardless of whether I think it's good or bad for Trump, it is certainly good for tech, generally speaking, for Trump to be back on sites like Twitter. Also, the Babylon Bee presumably would be unsuspended. The Babylon Bee, we did an interview with Seth Dillon just a couple of weeks ago. You can go listen to it over at the Sunday Special, in which we talked about the fact that the Babylon Bee Twitter account has been banned for about a year for suggesting that men are not women and women are not men. And we've seen libs of TikTok, who works with Babylon Bee, also banned and then not banned and suspended and not suspended. So presumably Musk is going to end all of that. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is urging Musk to reinstate her, along with other right-wing commentators, including Alex Jones, along with one-off reversal of high-profile bans, according to Kevin Roose. I'd expect that Musk would tear up Twitter's existing rules and rewrite new ones, and that he might dismantle Twitter's content policy and trust and safety teams, which are responsible for enforcing the platform's rules as they currently exist, which is right, because again, if you actually read the Twitter rules, they are just vague enough to allow for political bias to destroy the entire free speech system. One friend of Musk suggested that he might install someone like Blake Masters as Twitter's head of enforcement if he doesn't actually winning that Senate seat in Arizona. And all of this is scaring the living hell out of the left. Why? Because what they are afraid of is that there might be dissemination of information they don't like, and it will affect elections. And Kevin Roose says the quiet part out loud here, quote, "It probably won't change the midterms, but 2024 could be the Elon election." Right? So again, what's amazing about that is that is a tacit admission that the Twitter bans on particular figures make 2022 the Twitter election, meaning that if reversal of their current policies affects 2024, that means their current policies affect 2022. And that is the logic of the statement that Roose is making. Basically, by keeping certain information off Twitter, this has affected elections like 2022, and that changing those policies will affect 2024 in a way that does not benefit the left. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll get into the Herschel Walker abortion story, how that's going to affect the Georgia race. We'll get into Rachel Maddow, who's sounding kind of insurrection-y these days. If you're not a member, click the link in the description and join us.